Hi, we're down here in the J Concepts pit area. We're going to do a little recap here of the round one of four-wheel drive invitational, and what we have here is a bunch of guys that are really at the top of the sheets. We got guys right at the top at the end of two-wheel, which was Dustin Evans, and he was at the top. But there's a lot of guys tied right behind that with 10 points. Dustin was sitting at 7. And Dakota Fenn was right up there as well. We ran into the first round of the Invitational for four-wheel, and they allowed the drivers to do a little warm-up first. So do you think you guys been switching back and forth all weekend between two-wheel and four-wheel, but the guys in Invitational, they haven't been doing that. Do you think that the first round was more difficult because of that?
Yeah, I think so. So I think it's going to take a while for them to get the rhythm for all the jumps for four-wheel, but they're pros. They'll only take a couple laps. They'll be dialed right after that.
Damon, you watched? Did you watch any of the practice or the invitational heats?
Can I think? Yeah, I watched the practice. Everyone was looking pretty good. Like Alex said, for the jumps, they got to work on their timing a little bit because it is pretty difficult to go from two-wheel to four-wheel with so much power. But yeah, I think that's really the main thing is just trying to get the rhythm from two-wheel to four-wheel because the power difference. But other than that, I think it's pretty much it.
Yeah, and the results there, we had one spectacular race where Mayfield actually was coming back up through the pack. He came onto the straightaway, and him and Kevin Motter were side by side coming on the back straightaway. They hit the little roller. Kevin's car made a little left. Mayfield was straight. They just nailed each other, and I don't know what the heck happened, but the guys here think that Mayfield's some kind of wizard because he was able to keep the car.
He is a wizard.
I mean, have you ever done anything like that? I mean, he basically barrel rolled the car on the straightaway and kept it wide open and still maintained his position. How do you do something like that?
I don't know. If I tried that, I probably would have flown off the track and would have to watch the rest of the other guys race.
I mean, it's always fun to watch the rest of the guys after you break out, isn't it?
Oh, best 4 minutes of my life.
So, Damon, how about you? I mean, have you ever done anything like that? I mean, the most impressive part I thought was after he did the barrel roll, he thought he was going to hit the end of the straightaway, so he had to go wide because he turned around it. He went wide and bank shotted off the outside and still held the position over the top. And him and Tebow kind of got together over the little double. But, what did you think happened?
Me personally, I've never done anything that cool. Every time I try to do a last lap finale pass, it always ends up bad for me. I either end up in the wall or upside down. So for him to do that was pretty spectacular. So, yeah, it's pretty awesome.
And then the other race, Spencer Rivkin ran a great race, but he was really pressured by Kyle McBride. Kyle doesn't really struggle in two-wheel, but, he was doing well. But, in that four-wheel race, he was giving it to the top guys. What do you see from Spencer so far this weekend? Do you think he's got a shot at this thing?
Of course. He's world champ. He's dialed. His cars are good. I think he's driving good. He's got great flow of the track, and I think he could do it.
Did you see? Have you watched Kyle McBride much this weekend? What do you think? He's last year's Invite winner. Either one of you guys, could win the Open and end up in the Invite. Do you think he could do as well as Kyle's doing out there this weekend?
I don't know. It's hard to say. The Invite class is so difficult, and it's so hard to try to get a perfect start every time. You kind of got to get a little bit of luck. So. Yeah, he's driving really smooth. He had a couple mistakes in two-wheel, which kind of cost him a couple front row starts. He had some good luck getting some good front row there. But to be honest, I don't know. Unless I was in the position, I don't really know if I could do the same, maybe better, maybe worse. I don't really know. I'd have to be in the position.
From what you guys' perspective, you're in the races where you're doing for speed. You're doing the normal qualifying, and you have to go for the quickest run. What do you think about racing heads up? What do you think about racing heads up versus having to qualify and run the mains like a traditional format?
I think we have it easier because we get to practice a lot more. Our tires are broken in quicker, I would say, for racing. Qualifying, you get 4 rounds, they're racing right away basically. So they definitely have it a lot tougher than us. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say, I would say.
Well, I mean, that was we had a lot of mixed up results there. I mean, Dustin kind of struggled in that run. Cavallari didn't get like the best start. I mean, he still kind of in Pudge style. He still ended up getting, I think, third. Out of it was kind of a mess, and somehow he got third. I mean, Daimon, how does he do it? How does he keep, like, he turns like a mess into still something?
I don't know. I mean, Cavallari is just probably one of the smoothest drivers there is. I mean, he's obviously one of the smartest too. Multiple world champions, multiple national champions. And a lot of people say he has some Pudge luck, but I think he kind of makes his own luck in a way, because he always puts the car where it needs to be. He always plays it smart, and he always seems to keep his head in it and always do pretty good by the end of the run, no matter how bad the start.
All right.
I think it's because he gets Starbucks every day. That's just my personal opinion. But, I've been doing it this week. I didn't do too bad. I didn't do too good. But I think Starbucks is like a major key in the Pudge luck type deal.
Well, that's our round recap. What we have now is we have the situation going now where we're going to have another heat of four-wheel drive, and then it's going to close out the day. But I think what we're going to see now is, after Dakota Fenn having a little bit of a problem there, he broke once again, and that puts him under, he's in a crunch now where he can't, in the next 5 races, he can't afford to have a bad finish. Puts a little pressure on him, and that's going to hurt his points. But anything can happen still. Anybody can break and four-wheel have an issue. But right now we got Mayfield and Spencer back at the top. We still have Cavallari, Tebow, and we got Dustin Evans and Dakota still up there despite that break. But, I mean, this thing's going to keep flip-flopping depending on who wins and loses each round. You guys want to give us a prediction on the overall champion this weekend?
You gotta go with Spencer. I think that's a solid choice.
Okay, how about you?
I don't know. I mean, it's a tough choice. I mean, Ryan's won this thing before. He knows what he has to do. So he'll definitely be in contention. He knows that he has to put in some good runs. Spencer, I mean, he's been driving super smooth. He's a world champion. He knows what it's like to be up top. I mean, with runs to come, I mean, there's still people like Dustin or Dakota who could still come back and do this thing. But I'm honestly thinking I want to go with Spencer just because he's already at the top of the board. He already has a good run in. He has some good confidence in his car. So I think I'm going to go with Spencer.
All right. Well, there we go. That's expert opinion from the Open drivers. Alex K. and Daimon B. We will call you to protect your anonymity. And appreciate the insight. And we'll wrap us up here for this round. And we'll see you again here in the next round. See how it shakes down.